1. My junior year of high school, I was on the varsity lacrosse team for my school. We weren't fantastic, but we weren't terrible either. Playoff season was right around the corner, and we had a new coach. So everyone was pretty excited about our chances of a district title. Anyway, one day we have practice right before our last game before the playoffs. Head coach is busy with something with his daughter, if I recall correctly, so only our assistant coach was there. Game tomorrow should be easy, so it's just a relaxed minimal pads day. And like most kids on the team, I didn't bother putting my cup in that day. This mistake haunts me to this day. Towards the end of practice, we are running a loose 6v6 play, and I am playing defense against a kid behind the goal. He cuts forward and in front of the goal to get open for a pass, so I run to follow him so he can't get the easy goal. Instead of passing through, the kid with the ball at the opposite corner of the field took a shot, which bounced, missed the corner of the goal, and flew directly into my unprotected testicles at 80 plus miles an hour. This kid had one of the fastest shots on the team. Here is where it gets fun. If you've ever been hit in the balls, you know it hurts. A lot. Now imagine the force of a kick, but 4 times harder that is a direct hit. I was doubled over on the side of the field for about 20 minutes, unable to comprehend anything but pain. I felt like I needed to empty my stomach, bladder and bowels all at the same time. Thankfully, only vomiting 3 or 4 times. When the initial shock wore off, I was able to waddle over to my coach and tell him I was going to the locker room, then the trainer to survey the damage and see what I needed to do. I walked painfully to the locker room, sat down in the toilet, sighed, then realized something was very wrong. Yes, it was worse than I thought. When I sat down, I realized that the bottom of my scrotum was submerged in the toilet water. I didn't want to look down for fear of what I might see, and when I did, I nearly fainted. My balls were the size of a softball. A softball. This is not an exaggeration, and no, I'm not putting pictures of my swollen balls on the internet. The pain kicked in double time at this revelation, and I grabbed my phone immediately and called my dad to go to the ER. The ER was pretty boring and uneventful, as they tend to be, so here's an abridged list of occurrences there. I waited for about an hour in excruciating pain while I waited for a free room. The doctor came in and very forcefully hand-examined my balls and ordered an ultrasound on my family fruit. The ultrasound was the single most painful experience of my life due to the force they needed to see everything. Thankfully, the nuts themselves weren't swollen, but rather a grapefruit-sized hematoma, bruise, was pressing them against my scrotum with extreme force, which explains the unbearable pain. The ultrasound image looked like Kirby, if you can imagine it. The hematoma, Kirby's body, was smushing my baby makers, Kirby's feet. Aftermath. I missed roughly 3 days of school as the swelling went down, and I regained my ability to walk. I spent those 3 days in bed with a bag of ice on my balls, and as many distractions as I could have from the pain. When I finally did go back to school, I literally waddled for about 2 weeks. The bruising after the fact was bad. And when I say bad, I mean my balls were so purple they looked like Grimace from McDonald's. Also, the way the lacrosse ball hit me left a large bruise on the left half of my dick as well. It took about a month for my manberries to heal completely, and to this day, I have a cyst roughly the size of a pea in my sack to remind me of my horrible decision not to wear a cup. 2. Obligatory backstory. My air conditioner had been broken all month on and off. I live in a relatively nice apartment complex. There's always maintenance staff on duty until dark, and they respond quickly to air conditioner calls. They had been over 3 times this month to fix my AC because of a storm that we thought just blew a fuse, but actually caused bigger underlying electrical issues. The electrician is due out tomorrow. They scheduled it Friday. I'm a big baby about air conditioning. I live in a warm climate and it's over 100 during the day here, Fahrenheit. I've had some bad experiences with apartments that don't take AC seriously, including the weekend I had my daughter and brought her home from the hospital to no AC in the summer. That combined with my experience this month has made me extra paranoid. Basically, every time I think it might not be working well, I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's 85 in my bedroom. On to today. We got home late today from a weekend trip out of town. As I'm opening the door, I say, I hope they fixed the AC while we were gone. If it doesn't work, it's really going to suck. We come in and set our stuff down, and I turn on our AC and get started unpacking. My daughter tells me she needs to poop, and runs to her bathroom. I'm not sure if it's normal for a kid her age to have no sense of personal space or social boundaries, but she, as always, runs to the toilet with the bathroom door still open, and proceeds to drop off her package. The kid poops like a middle-aged man on a bender. I don't know where it comes from or how she maintains such quality, but she never fails to impress. About 10 minutes later, I climb up on a chair and put my hand up to one of the vents, and sure enough, it's blowing room temperature air again. It's already 85 in the house, and I just can't take it. We just drove 5 hours, and I want to cool off and relax. There's enough time before dark that I can still call our emergency line, so I do. I leave a message that it's not working again. It's like the 5th time this month. Please come and help me before it's too late. At this point, the maintenance staff all know us. They know the situation and feel bad for us while we're waiting for an electrician. Our favorite guy, let's call him Brad, comes over in about 5 minutes, in his weekend clothes and sandals, so that he can help us quickly. Here's where the embarrassing stuff starts. Brad checks the air from the vent, and it turns out that I didn't give the AC enough time to cool down. And now it's blowing cold air. I've called him out for nothing on a Sunday night. He's very understanding, insists he'd have done the same if he thought he might have to go all night without air conditioning tonight. My daughter hears Brad. She loves this guy. She wants to ask him for a hug. She pinches off her monstrosity. I'd forgotten she was even in there. We hadn't been to that side of the unit yet, and flushes, running out with her shorts mostly still down, yelling, "Brad!" Luckily, Brad misses this development, and I have time to whisper to her, "We have company, go pull up your pants and close the bathroom door, so this poor guy doesn't have to smell your poop while he's working." She replies, "Good idea." She runs off to follow instructions, and comes back out shortly after to give him a hug goodbye. We share a few quick friendly words before he leaves, and then I thank him and he's gone. I even think to myself that I really should get him a gift card or something, as a tip for all these trips out here to help, especially this one. I send a text to a friend saying how silly I was for overreacting. I go back into mom mode and start getting stuff ready for bedtime. I tell my daughter to turn off her movie and get ready for a bath. I'm going to get it started. I open up her bathroom door, and the last thought I had before all hell broke loose was, "That's weird. Why is the toilet still running?" I pull the door open, and immediately see 3 inches of water all over the bathroom floor. This is a good time to point out that if this has never happened to you, it might seem like an even bigger emergency than it is. You might say something like, "What the fuck happened in here?" before realizing that only a child will hear your perfectly reasonable question. They might respond, "Fuck," even though they're a child. And all of this is completely normal and not something to feel too bad about. She clogged the toilet, at the exact moment that it also broke in a way that caused it to run continuously. Either of those independently is not a big deal. Together they make poop water Armageddon. The closed door trapped in the water, causing it to pool rather than leaking out into another room, where it would have been visible. We made a poop water kiddie pool. I realize I told her to close the door when Brad was here and I just sent him away. Now I'm alone, in the poop lagoon. I managed to hold up a little arm thing in the back of the toilet, full disclosure I'm not a plumber, and call Brad with my other hand. He doesn't answer, because he thinks I'm being paranoid AC lady again. He sends me a paragraph-long text about how the electrician will definitely be here tomorrow, and some other stuff I didn't read. I reply using my offhand and nose, 3 inches of water in the bathroom. He sends back, and this is a direct quote, "LOL girl, what is going on over there? I'm on the way." We spend 25 back-breaking minutes in a very warm house, with all of the towels I own and his shop vac, trying as hard as we can to clean it up before it leaks into the downstairs neighbor's bathroom. Spoiler alert. We failed at that too. My daughter comes in and says, "I'm sorry, I pooped." Brad replies, "It's okay. Everybody poops." 40 minutes total, and I feel like my whole life changed. You hear about things like this, but you think, this won't happen to me. Then when it does, you're just not ready. 3. I matched with a girl on Tinder today. The profile was ambiguous, just a picture of her laying down on her belly, no bio. I usually start with a creative message derived from the pictures or bio. I decided to just message her. "I don't have much to go off from your profile. What does come to mind is that you have a nice looking butt." She responds, "Wanna touch my butt in person?" Bottom line is, we decided to meet at my apartment, and that I would give her $40 for some weed. This felt like a whole new level of trashy for me. So far in life, I have only had sex with 4 people, and I made a serious attempt to date them. I asked my friends what I should do. They said it did not seem too sketch. I was going to say no until I thought to myself, "Hey dude, when you are an old man, you will regret not having casual sex with a stranger, more than not knowing what could have been." I end up giving her my number and she calls me. There were a few things over the phone that gave me a bad feeling. First, she sounded way too casual over the phone. I felt like I was scheduling an appointment with a receptionist. First, she thought that we were doing this at her place. I asked her if she had roommates and she responded yes. I told her that it made more sense to do this at my place since I live alone. She ends up hanging up. I am thinking, alright, whatever, this seemed too good to be true anyways. She calls back 3 minutes later saying that she lost cell phone reception for a minute. That was the final item to make me feel uneasy. In hindsight, she was obviously lying. The amount of time between calls was far too long for her to have just lost connection. She agreed to do this at my place. I insisted that we get coffee first so I can make sure I'm not bringing a wacko into my apartment. She agreed to that, and I am feeling more comfortable now. She just asks for a ride, which was not a problem for me. I leave to pick her up and get $40 for the bud. Up to this point, I was feeling really nervous about going through with this. Then, while I am actually going through with it, all these thoughts disappeared. I am just thinking to myself, tonight is going to be fun. I am about to get a little high with a cute girl and play some Mario Kart with her, watch Netflix, get my dick wet, and maybe even cuddle. Little did I know I am about to get majorly bamboozled. The address she gave me was not listed. I call her. She says just to meet her at the Rite Aid on the corner. I am dead set on eating pussy. I meet her at the Rite Aid parking lot. She actually looks like her profile, and all the nerves are gone again. She said we could expect her dealer to show up any minute. She gets the call 2 minutes later. I am thinking to myself, what kind of drug dealer is this prompt? But me being a gullible idiot, I gave her my $40 anyways. Then she meets some dude on the corner and they walk off together, not to be seen again. I immediately realize that I have been played. She texts me, "You're beat, sorry." And that was that. Was I mad? No, not at all. The situation could have been far worse. It could have been more money. She could have been an undercover cop. She could have been lying about her age. I could have been beat up by her boyfriend. I could have gotten an STD. The list goes on, folks. Right now I feel 3 things. I feel great shame. This is not the guy I am. I am just lonely and would have appreciated some sexual comfort. I also feel really bad for her. She must be in a tight spot to have gone through with that. I am sure that she needs my $40 more than I do. Finally, I feel really unlucky, as yesterday was my cake day. If this could have happened just 1 day earlier, my post would have been gilded for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, what did we learn today? If a situation seems too good to be true, it is. 4. This one is embarrassing on both of our parts. I think the guy in question didn't show any shame to me. I'm more embarrassed I let this happen. I met this guy on Tinder. I think I was attracted to him at the time, as he had that typical metalhead look. Long hair, leather jacket, metal band tee. Yes, I was an emo kid at the time, which is embarrassing in itself. Anyway, this guy asked me on a date, and of course I said yes. We got pizza, walked around a few shops, and then after the date, he said he wanted to meet my parents. Okay, but odd for a first date, but whatever. We get to my house and I take him to my room so he can leave his bag in there while we chat to my family. Not what he had in mind, apparently. He started kissing me, ended up taking my bra off under my shirt, and then asked if he could wear my bra. I thought he was trying to be funny, so I agreed. He took off his shirt and put on my bra. He then kissed me again, pressing his new breasts against mine. He started moaning really feminine into the kiss. He then lifted my shirt up and bit my nipple. Now this wasn't a cheeky, sexy nipple bite. No, this hurt. He bit and pulled until my poor little nip flung back into place. He kept doing this for a bit. I was just sitting there while he did so, confused and not knowing what to say. Eventually I made a generic excuse to get him to leave. He made me walk him 2 kilometers to the train station, leaving me with another girly moany kiss. I went home and inspected my nipples. They were red and swollen. Luckily he didn't take my bra home, but it's now stretched too big for me. That was my favourite bra, fuck that guy. Told him I didn't want to go on another date because I would rather keep my nipples intact. 5. As a woman, I've had almost 20 years of experience managing the pain and side effects of that unwanted monthly biological cycle. Moonblood, Shark Week, the menstruation period. Luckily, the IUD I had inserted gets rid of the worst of the soul-searing and crippling cramps. Unluckily, I still get all the other side effects like bloating, constipation, bleeding, and fatigue. But worst of all are the dreaded period shits. It's like your whole body below the belly button has decided to self-destruct. So I get through a crazy day at the office, experiencing every bowel and menstrual movement at once, whenever I go to the restroom, which of course is at a higher frequency than usual. But it's okay, because I'm not constipated anymore, right? By the time I get home, I feel like the worst of it is over, and I get right to some yard chores. Mowing the lawn, seeding some bare spots, and cleaning up after the dogs. I feel so damn productive and resilient. Take that, buddy! Now I'm covered in a decent sweat and ready to relax, but nope. The husband thinks we should take the dogs on a walk at the local park. Yeah, sure, I reply, not wanting to disappoint him or the dogs. We pile into the car, and that's when I feel my bowels starting to growl again. It's not a problem because I am well trained in the art of controlling my guts. The park is packed full of rowdy teenagers, so we beeline for the wooded trails. After a couple loops, we're on our way back to the car, when we get sort of awkwardly stuck behind a slow walker. The dogs keep trying to keep pace with the stranger, so my husband says under his breath to me, "I'm gonna run past him." But I began. But he's already off down the trail with one dog surging ahead on his leash. Okay, fine, whatever. And I jog. And then full-on sprint after him with my other dog, who is more than happy to follow. Right as I emerge out of the trees and see the parking lot, I know I fucked up. Sprinting set my intestines and other guts to churning. Maybe not a terrible fuck up, but it's annoying, because I can feel that I'm about to bleed all over the damn place. Swiftly, I hand my husband the dog and tell him to wait, while I use the nearby pavilion toilet. I make it in time, and luckily my underwear had been spared the Red Death. But wait, period shits have returned with a vengeance. Damn it! I thought I'd gotten rid of you. Well, whatever, I'll just clean up and... Oh no. God, oh why? The stall had no fucking toilet paper. My undercarriage is fouled by a trifecta of bodily fluids. I don't have my phone and can't even rip off the cardboard tube where the toilet paper should be. I really fucked up. In my haste, I didn't think to check if this park restroom was properly stocked. Survival mode kicks in, and I see a large wad of toilet paper on the cement floor. A small corner of it looks unsullied. Out of sheer desperation, I try to use this scrap to clean the worst off, but no. It's ineffective, and I merely manage to cover my hand in gore. It's a grisly sight. The next stall over must have some toilet paper. So I do the unthinkable and pull up my underwear and pants. Grimacing, I scuttle like a disgusting, bloody, shitty crab into the next stall. And lo, there is toilet paper, but my underwear is beyond saving. The only item of use on my person is a roll of dog poop bags, so I bag up my underwear in one of those and finish the hideous business. Husband looks confused, because I took quite a long time, and even further confused when he sees a filled poop bag in my hands. What's in the bag? I'll tell you when we get in the car, I say in my tiniest and quickest voice. There is a herd of teenagers returning to vehicles all around us, and I'm not about to tell him, oh yeah, just my blood and shit-stained panties, you know. Once home, my pants and panties get disinfected within an inch of their lives, and I take a long, hot shower, then retire early. Never again. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to 5 True Embarrassing Stories 81. 81 already. Weird how these things sneak up on you. Well, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. The weekend beckons, and I intend to have fun, as well as do some work around the house and in the garden that I've been putting off. But I will have fun. 'Tis a serious business to me. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. I do hope all you guys have a very nice weekend, whatever you may have planned, and your next day off, whenever it may be, comes soon. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.